Hey guys, I'm back to another MicroFactory devlog. In the past month, I've been mostly refining things to release the next version of the game. At the moment, you can download the game for free on gamedev. I will remove it in the future, so if you want to try it, the link is in the description. So I started by trying to understand more about outlines. At the moment, the one I'm using has some issues. The first issue is that you can see annoying gaps in the vertices of the objects. And the second issue is, if you have an object that contains multiple objects, they actually have a separate outline. Before I start working in the conveyor belts, this was fine, but conveyor belts have 4 columns that are resized dynamically, so they cannot be attached to the object, and also have the animated belt. So this is something that really needs to be fixed. So the way outlines work, or at least the ones I know, they create an outline by scaling the object. There's also a post-processing outline, which draws the outline after rendering everything, but I'm not going with that. Okay, let's say we have a sphere. Now we render a new sphere in front and we scale it. But we need to see the original sphere, right? So we can actually create a mask that will hide the outline inside the object. And here is our sphere with an outline. This may look something heavy, but it's actually executed very fast by the GPU. Now let's do the same thing, but with a low poly sphere. The result should be the same, but as you can see, there are gaps in the vertices. Why? To calculate the light, 3D models have something called normals. They can be either flat or smooth. With flat normals, the light is calculated for each face in the object. Otherwise, with smooth normals, there are many algorithms that can be used, and they calculate the light for each pixel. That's why we can see a low resolution sphere, but almost with the same quality of a higher one. So if we pick the same sphere as before and change the normals to be smooth, the outline looks fine, but MicroFactory has a low poly art style, so the objects must have flat normals. I found this project called Quick Outline, which is open source on GitHub and is also available on the Unity Asset Store, that solves this in an interesting way. If the outline works fine with a smooth sphere, then we can just use the outline of the smooth sphere on the flat sphere, right? By doing that, this also fixes the other issue, which was different outlines for parts of the object. It merges all the objects that are inside the main object, calculates the smooth normals, and then draws the outline. I started by importing Quick Outline into the project to see if it works. Then I adapted it to my needs to be more lightweight and to be integrated with the rest of the interaction system. And it's working pretty smoothly. As you can see, it's a lot better compared to how it was before. There is a single outline in the inserter instead of 6. As I was working on the outlines of the focused objects, I decided to change the effect of the nearby objects. The downside of using this outline is the performance. When having like 20 objects with outline, you can start seeing your FPS going down. So I decided to remove outlines from nearby objects and I started trying different styles. At the start I tried to add animated textures, but they ended up not looking with the same style as the game. At the end, it just became green with a kind of fade animation. Then I decided that it was finally time to prevent the camera from entering the terrain. So at the moment the camera can go inside and behind the terrain, right? To prevent this, we can cast a ray from the player to the camera to see if there is any terrain between them. If there is any collision, then the camera will be placed in the point of the collision. It can't work at the first try. But it's almost working now. As you can see, it's not perfect. I might improve it in the future, but for now it's good. Then I decided to change the model of the conveyor inserter. I added a sort of a funnel at the top, so you can easily see that it's an inserter. I also made a dropper, which is the opposite of the inserter. When it receives an item from the conveyor belt, it automatically drops to the floor. So with conveyor inserters, you can put your items from the inventory into a conveyor belt. And with conveyor droppers, you can receive the items from the conveyor belt. This probably won't be useful late game when you have a lot of machines working, but at the start you need to place the items where you want, so you will need. And it's finally working. Now I can place items in the conveyor belt and also receive items from the conveyor belt. I've also improved dropped items. They didn't look like dropped items at all. And now they have a glowing effect, and also they don't have a shadow, which made them seem like they are placed on the floor. So that's it. Thank you for watching and see you next time.